gave details of incoming and outgoing shipping for the UK for the following week. It didn't take much working out to find out which was Southampton one, so it was obvious to me that it'd be worth my while getting on the BR and see if I can get some timings. When the loco backed down, I was puzzled at first. I knew what service it was supposed to be. It was for Salisbury, and the board had been left on since the last working and hadn't been taken off in Nine Elms as it should have been, and spotted last moment, hence the panic.
A week before the end, 145 Squadron waits to go with the 1723 to Bournemouth. Platform 10. West Country Clovelly heads the Bournemouth Belle. Useful, having a clock at the end of the platform. Clan line backs on at platform 10 to pull the 1330 to Weymouth. For the period it's fairly clean, but still to find its nameplate. Three weeks before the end, the last enthusiast-organised steam special prepares to leave.
I was a bit dismayed to see from the end of the platform two logos backing on. I knew there was no time to get in front. I quickly realised that I wouldn't have been able to get in front of them in any case because they were going to overhang the platform. I got a ticket to Vauxhall quickly, dashed out there and jumped into the first train leaving, which as it turned out was leaving only seconds in front of the special. Got myself out of the electric as fast as possible at Vauxhall, just in time as it turned out.
The 2nd of July, a few days before the official end of steam. Two specials. The first to Weymouth pulled by Orient Line.
As soon as I saw them, it was obvious that BR had made a big effort here, and I thought rightly so. Not only been cleaned, I mean, I saw evidence of new paintwork, especially around nameplates, like Orient Line in particular. It was a joy to see them.
Stock comes in for the second train. Clan line would pull it to Bournemouth.
I knew there might be other opportunities to get a bit of steam before the end, but we're so close to the end, and BR would obviously put themselves out so much, there wouldn't be anything like this again. So yes, it was a very sad day that day to see them disappear.
But not the end of steam for us. In the next programme we get out of Waterloo and head southwest to Bournemouth, seeing what Bullied Pacifics could do with a full head of steam and a clear road ahead.
Breathless with anticipation, we hurry through the Surrey stations with all our friends and our relations, off to find the sun. Oh, I do so love this journey, I'm looking forward to returning, puffing through to Waterloo when the holiday is done. Pretty, fair and squarely on the sunny southern sands.
Between 1965 and the end of steam in July 1967, Albert Edwards filmed extensively along the last steam-hauled main line in Britain. We're going to try and let the pictures do the talking. Who needs commentary when you've got pictures like this? March 66. Preservation is already alive and well. A4 Kingfisher pulls a special to Weymouth. Easy to reach from Waterloo, Vauxhall became a favourite location for Albert Edwards.
Vauxhall was a place I always liked because you got some good views looking towards Waterloo, you get some nice long approach shots. Obviously not as good the other way. I was invariably there during the day, the middle of the morning or middle of the afternoon. I'm sure it would have been a very different situation in the rush hour.
June 1967. Clan line heads to Salisbury.
Such a terrific range of activities going on. Always a train in sight, even maybe an electric, but there's always something in sight, always something going on. Clapham Junction served not only Waterloo, but Victoria and the West London line. And I also knew that it had the reputation then of being the world's busiest junction.
West Country Temple Combe works freight westwards in April 1967.
I had known for many years that there had been services running into Clapham Junction which didn't appear in the public timetable. I knew from many years, in fact, when I was a signal on the West London line, that they ran twice each way, and they were put on especially for the
glimpse of Clapham carriage sidings, and in the background here, Clapham A signal box of London and South Western design. Wimbledon. A station shared with London Transport, this was where the district line terminated. On the right, a typical southern design brick-built signal box, contrasting with the veteran Wimbledon B box. Signal oil lamps being serviced. The empty paraffin container is removed for filling.
I was delighted to see that footbridge. I realised it was going to give me some out of the ordinary shot.
On the left, beside the line to West Croydon, Wimbledon C box.
This is West Country Westward Ho. He'd previously come down the main line hauling a line of wagons containing ballast. Obviously we're doing work in the air at the time. And the fact he reappeared running light engine backing up towards me told me he'd coming down for water.
It's 2 months before the end of steam. Westward Ho was built in 1946, rebuilt in 1960, and worked until the end. of May 1967 at Rains Park. West Country Dartmoor returns to the Down Main after being routed via the Down Slow. Permanent way engineers were in possession of the Down Main at Wimbledon. Nearly 9 miles from Waterloo. The minimal gradient shows why Rains Park was a good place to film. Coming up, this was the last part of the racing stretch before shutting off as the suburbs were approached.
When I first saw the station, I realised it had fantastic possibilities. Good choice of platforms, and undoubtedly an excellent position to get long-running shots of steam in action. It was an exciting place to be, there's no doubt.
Years earlier, in 1965, This is just west of Rains Park Station. Blue Star heads a down Bournemouth Belle. October 1965. West Country Ilfracombe works to Bournemouth. 2 years later, preserved A4 Sir Nigel Gresley, a streamlined LNER Pacific, is followed by a streamlined Southern, Blackmore Vale, both up to Bournemouth. New Malden, 9 3/4 miles from Waterloo, a month before the end of steam. Veteran London and South Western signal box. Not so veteran standard Class 5. A view of the electrified third rail. In the last year of steam, Bournemouth took 2¼ hours. Electrification aimed to reduce it to 100 minutes. At Woking, a standard Class 5 with a stopping service from Waterloo to Bournemouth. A short diversion to Guildford in March 1966. Class N 31411 nears half a century of service. Bought from America after the war, USA class tanks. This one is preserved on the Keighley and Worth Valley. Last survivor of its class, standard 377014.
I think the day that'll always stand out in my mind was the day I visited Bournemouth Junction, some 30 odd miles from Waterloo. I was amazed at the frequency of the traffic and the turnout of the locomotives. It was really a marvellous place to be. When I went home that day, I really thought I'd really got something in the bag there.
March 1965, and there's no third rail on the up and down main lines. Brookwood, near here, the £15 million electrification to Bournemouth would start. 80 route miles, 230 track miles. Southampton Airport that away, Eastleigh Shed this away. It's 3 months before the end. Near here, the massive erecting and maintenance sheds. The place bullied unveiled his first merchant navy in 1941. And especially clean for this time, suggesting the working of enthusiast specials, West Country Lapford. Back to 1965 and Brockenhurst. Clan Line starts out for Waterloo. Branch to Lymington, one of the ferry ports for the Isle of Wight, was one of the last steam-worked branches in the country. Port Line, now preserved, works the up Bournemouth Belle in July 1965. Unusual for 1965, Belgium Marine has no smoke box number. In from Waterloo and off to Bournemouth. Hinton Admiral. The Southern were the only region to name their standard Class 5s. This is Merlin. This through service was brought to a halt by a severe signal check, losing it over 4 minutes.
When the signal finally came off and it started pulling away, that this character standing in the doorway said, "Oh, driver's last day, retiring." For many years I've been going to Christchurch for fishing. It was during my many fishing expeditions that I'd noticed the frequency and splendour of some of the steam that was forever whistling by. So when the time came I decided to pick up the steam again with a camera. That to me was an obvious place to go.
We're just east of Christchurch Station. West Country Lyme Regis heads for the north via Oxford. Unrebuilt West Country Wilton works out of Christchurch in October 1965, heading for Waterloo. As does rebuilt West Country Oakhampton 3 months earlier. This is from the other side of the bridge. Journey's end for us, as West Country Yeovil takes a Pines Express northwards. So what happened to them all? West Country Oakhampton worked until the bitter end and was scrapped. Not so Merchant Navy Port Line. Withdrawn in September 1966, she steams on in preservation. Temple Coombe worked till June 67 and was scrapped. Blackmore Vale, an original bullied survivor, is now with the Bluebell Railway. But Biggin Hill didn't make it. 20 years service and 1 million miles on the clock were rewarded with the scrapyard. And Lapford, one of the last West Countries to be built, worked to the end and was scrapped. But it's not all gloom and doom. In 1950, Southern Region owned 150 Pacific locomotives. Today, amazingly, 31 bullied Pacifics survive in one form or another. 20 West Country and Battle of Britons, 11 merchant navies. Their weight of numbers, the very fact Southern steam stayed so long, enabled preservation and heritage groups to mobilise in time to save so many. The number of casualties then has to be seen against the number of survivors. And tribute must be paid to the loco men of the region for keeping so many locos going for so long in trying and difficult circumstances, squeezing the last ounce of effort out of them. Three months before the end of steam, Albert Edwards made a last chance tour of several southern engine sheds, starting at Nine Elms and heading southwest. Appropriately, the last stop was Salisbury, a shed with a reputation for lavishing care on their locomotives.
And I was delighted to see, when in front of the shed, that there was Biggin Hill in there, shining. She looked beautiful. And was more than delighted when the loco man said to me, "Do you want it out for the camera?" So it was brought out. It was very low in steam, that was obvious, but nevertheless it came out and we all had a ball with the cameras on that one.
Biggin Hill survived for just another month, and then the end came. The end of Southern Steam heralded not just a cleaner, if sterile railway, but new methods of travel. Car ownership exploded. Holidays became packaged in Spain, not Bournemouth. And though future posters would proclaim the age of the train, the real age of the train had gone. Only memories linger, chuffs and puffs and sunshine.
Breathless with anticipation, we hurry through the Surrey stations with all our friends and our relations, off to find the sun. Oh, I do so love this journey, I'm looking forward to returning, puffing through to Waterloo when the holiday is done.